Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall, psychic all the way from the Gold Coast in Australia. So wherever you are in this amazing planet of ours, I hope you've had an absolutely fantastic week. I know the world's attention now is sort of slipping a little bit away from COVID. We're going to put that in the rear vision mirror just for a temporary time anyway, while we focus on the Olympics in Tokyo. Now, look, I know there's been a lot of controversy about whether the Games should have gone ahead this year, should they have been cancelled altogether, delayed like they were last year. Look, I don't know that anybody really knows the answer to that. You know, I'm sure it was an incredibly hard decision for decision makers to sort of turn ahead and try and, you know, look down the barrel of COVID and say, let's give this a crack and let's try and keep it the safest games possible. You know, that will remain to be seen. Look, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to things. There's so much going on in the world at the moment where people are sort of saying, I've got the answer, I've got all the answers to this. I don't think anybody's got all the answers to COVID, that's for sure. But we wish them all well, all the athletes, all the officials, and we wish Tokyo well. And it is sad that they can't recoup the money that's been invested in this by, you know, having sellout crowds and things like that. But in the spirit of the Olympics, it will still go on. The athletes will still compete. We will still see, you know, world record breaking events and situations, and we'll see the tears, the joy and the frustration and the disappointment on the athletes' faces. And it's all part of what makes an Olympic Games. So we as a world wish them all well and hope that they gain out of the Games what they went for and that they look back on it as a very memorable experience in history. So let's get on with the Simply Tarot card of the week this week. And it's one of my favourite cards. It's the Ten of Pentacles. It's money coming. Now, isn't that a nice sounding situation, you know, having some extra money coming in? For some people, it can be the signing of a monetary agreement, or it could just be taking more of your finances in hand, that you're sort of starting to, you know, bring in some better budgeting skills. And boy, haven't we all had to learn those in the last 18 months, that you're now more back in the driver's seat. You're in control of the money that's coming through the door. Now, that's a really nice position to be in, that you finally feel that you're sort of on top of situations, that you can start to control the flow of money and where it's being distributed. So I always get a smile on my face when I see this card come up in a reading for a client, because I know that money is on its way, that things are going to start to improve no matter what dire straits they may be in their life. This is a very positive, very happy card. It's saying we're breaking the drought. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the lotto or have a big, you know, financial gain or an inheritance. It just means that your personal situation connected to money is improving. And there may be, for many people, the signing of a monetary agreement or signing of a contract or going into a new job that requires a signature and a commitment for a certain period of time. Now, you know, lots of people around the world these days work on contracts. They don't necessarily take on board full-time jobs or even part-time jobs anymore. They work on a contractual basis. So this is a positive card to come up for those people as well. So I hope that sort of put a smile on your dial today as we talk about money coming in a little bit more. This week, astrologically, I'm pleased to report for the second week, it's sort of like almost like a non-event. It's sort of like everything's starting to sort of calm down a little bit and we can sort of catch our breath a bit, which is nice. It seems to have been such a long time that I've tried to squeeze everything in that I've needed to say on an astrological front. Now we can take our time a little bit. The sun is still in Cancer, and it's in its last couple of days in Cancer. And how it's going to differ this year from the sun finishing its transit in Cancer from previous years is that I think we're all going to be a little bit more possessive of the people that we love. And I think that's due to all the changes that we've all been through in the last 18 months, lockdowns and coming out of lockdowns and restrictions and, you know, can I do this and can I do that? And I think that the opportunity that many of us around the world have had to reconnect with loved ones and to spend quality time with them has made us a little bit possessive of that time, a little bit more possessive of our loved ones, not wanting them to take risks, not wanting them to do anything anything that could put them into any sort of danger or expose them to any sort of illness or accident. So just be aware of that. As much as it's great to sort of have that connection with your family and want to hold them close, and I definitely understand that, we have to make sure that we're not smothering our loved ones too, that they sort of start to feel uncomfortable and don't want to visit or don't want to sort of come home for the family gathering because, oh my God, you know, mum's going to be smothering and suffocating again, or aunt or a grandma or granddad or uncle or father's going to be that way. So we all need to play our part in that. Yes, it's important to let them know how important they are to us and how we miss those special times or those special get-togethers, or even just a chat, you know, around, you know, with a cup of coffee in hand or a drink in hand, that we weren't able to do that face to face. We had to find other ways of keeping our family connections close. So just make sure that you don't suffocate and smother your loved ones as the sun gets ready to make its entry into the fantastic sign of Leo, and things, certainly the pace will pick up then. So it's been a time where we've been able to reconnect with family, sort of find, you know, take a little bit of breather and sort of, you know, indulge ourselves and do some of the things that give us pleasure. For us here in Australia, most of us have been hibernating because it's so cold. So it's been remote on the couch with, you know, some hot chocolate for us guys. But for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, it's been about getting out and enjoying the sunshine and enjoying the bounties of your fruits of your labour, and being able to spend that time with family and friends, and, you know, just having some laughter for a change, and just sort of letting the troubles of the world pass you by, which has been great. So we get ready for an action period coming up in a few days though. So we have Venus, the planet of love and affection, and Venus is sitting in Leo along with Mars, the planet of action. And some people describe Mars as the planet of war. I don't tend to sort of look at Mars that way. I tend to look at Mars as the ability to get out of bed with boundless energy and sort of take charge of your life and say, right, this is where I'm going and that's what I need to do. So because they're both sitting in the sign of Leo, it is the perfect time for anybody that's single that wants to get out there and strut their stuff and maybe meet someone new or attract someone new in their life, because you will be exuding this very positive, definite energy that, you know, you're very much in control. You're interesting and exciting person to be about. So, you know, there's sort of almost a glow around single people at the moment that are sort of out there and mixing and being able to do things that they probably couldn't do even 6 months ago, and being able to get out and socialise a bit more. So it's sort of like everybody's been let out of jail and all this pent-up energy is coming with it, that, you know, we want to get out there and strut our stuff and shake our booty and just, you know, really sort of enjoy life. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be doing that. I'm just saying just make sure that we don't go over the top with it, because sometimes when we put energy into Leo, it can be a little bit exaggerated, because Leo is the sign of the king of the jungle and likes to get out there and prove how powerful he is, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's also a time of wanting applause and look at me, aren't I fantastic? I'm just the most amazing person on the planet. Well, sometimes we can get a little bit carried away with that, of our own self-importance and how wonderful we are, and maybe we could be giving the other person that we're attracting in our lives a little bit of a false sense of who we are. You know, tone it down just a little bit, I think might be important there. Now we get on to the serious part of Venus conjunct Mars, and I'm going to tell you about another aspect that we talk about quite a bit in astrology, which we haven't mentioned a lot on the show, which is called an inconjunct. Now, an inconjunct means that this energy doesn't feel comfortable with each other. They're not necessarily opposing each other or at loggerheads. It's just an uncomfortable situation. And I'm sure many of you have walked into a room full of people and felt a very uncomfortable vibe or energy, and you just wanted to get out of there, but you have to stay there because you're meant to be at this function or this gathering for a reason, and you try and make the best of a bad situation. Well, that's basically how this is going to work. So Venus conjunct Mars is actually in conjunct a planet called Neptune in Pisces. So let's break it down in Venus in conjunct Neptune first. So Venus is the planet of love and affection that we've already established, sitting in Leo, wanting to get out there and enjoy the finer things in life, the shiny things in life. I'll, show you how amazing we are and, give me a stage and I'll perform. Now, with an inconjunct to Neptune, it's saying to us, now let's just be a little bit careful here that, yes, it's great to have confidence and be self-assured and be ready to sort of strut your loving energy out there to the world, but make sure that you fully understand where this is coming from. Is this energy coming from because you're in a good place, or is it coming from a place of insecurity, which is where Neptune comes in, the illusion, the delusion. Neptune can also be incredibly creative and can also sort of bring about the ability to sort of delve into ourselves and go very deeply in ourselves and sort of look at a few different possible alternatives or solutions to a problem and then pick one and make it our reality. So it's asking us not to be deceptive. So we could be deceiving ourselves, or we could be sending out a very deceptive sort of persona about who we are. You can be the most positive person in the world, but you still have your down days. You still have days where you're, a bit of woe is me. But, we need to make sure that we're giving a balanced sort of look here to the person that might be attracted to us. On the flip side of the coin, we also need to make sure that the person that we're attracted to is actually showing us their true side, or are they putting on a show just for the sake of winning or attracting a partner or someone to, spend some time with. So we need to be very careful here, because it could be the greatest connection of all time, where the two of you really do connect on a deep spiritual sort of level coming from Neptune, that, you can really sort of really, really connect on a soulful level. Or is it just that we're both strutting stuff out there that really isn't totally who we are? So we need to sift through that, and we need to be very aware of that. So there may be parts of meeting someone that, the greatest person you've ever met, but, I've got this uncomfortable undertone I can't quite put my finger on. Well, don't dismiss it. Work with it. It may just be that it's your own insecurities because previous relationships haven't worked out, and that comes into play too. Or it may just be a little warning sign to say, take it back a notch, take it slowly, and make sure that you really do get to know each other, because that might be all that Neptune is asking you to do here, is just don't rush into something. Take your time and take it steady. Now, when we have the planet Mars, which is ego-driven and high energy and not necessarily wanting to listen type of energy, Mars is always very much in control. Mars is always in the driver's seat no matter what. Even if he hasn't got a plan of action, he'll find one, or he'll make it up as he goes along sort of thing, but he's always on a path going somewhere. So this doesn't sit comfortably with Neptune, where Neptune likes to sort of slow everything down a notch or two. Neptune likes to sort of almost in a sense feel their way through situations. It's like it's okay to sit in the fog. It's okay to say, I don't have the answers. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to fantasize and daydream about what could be or which way you'd like the scenario or the situation to work out. Mars doesn't have any time for that. It's bang, bang, bang. I want answers. I want action. I want to do it now. I want it done yesterday. So they're sort of in conflict to begin with. So it's not necessarily saying one planet is right and one's wrong. It's just an interesting combination of where if Mars can to harness the energy of Neptune with Neptune's creativity and spirituality and the ability to look at many different solutions, then I think that could transfer into a very positive energy with Mars and sort of say we could really have some amazing results here. That if you're trying to get a new business off the ground, or that you need to plough through something or find solutions through cracks in a wall to be able to get your life on the direction that you want it to, well, this may just be the perfect configuration astrologically for you, because it's giving you the drive of Mars, but also the potential to think outside the square and look at other solutions that you may not have thought of or might have previously dismissed and are now coming back up to sort of say, well, hang on a minute, there could be a way through this fog that we could come out the other side in a much stronger position than we were before. So that's a really good way of looking at things. So for whatever way that fits in with you, and there is many of us that are embarking on new directions, new journeys, and I know out of COVID many people have reorganised their lives, and a lot of us now work from home and work remotely, and that's freed up our time to spend with our children and our loved ones, and to have a life and to sort of find a balance in our lives that we wouldn't have done willingly had we not been in this predicament with COVID, that we were forced into sort of really looking at our lives through a microscope. So it's been a very interesting journey, and I just sort of feel we're not quite out the other side yet of the interesting journey. I don't know when COVID's going to finish, that your guess is as good as mine on that. But from an astrological point of view, we as individuals have been working through our own stuff and hopefully finding solutions in different directions that we wouldn't have dreamed of 2 years ago, that our life would have taken us in that direction. So just hold on. Answers are coming, and we are becoming a stronger planet with stronger people in it. And there will be some people that you'll never be able to change their mind on how they see the world, and that's okay. They're entitled to their opinion. But for many of us, we've been shaken at our foundations, that we're now looking for different solutions, different answers, and different ways of approaching the next few years of our lives, and that's a good thing. So we're going to talk to Randall in Manchester, Tennessee, in the USA. Are you there, Randall?
Hello, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Randall. Do you have a question I can work with?
Just generally, what is on the horizon?
Okay. All right, we can do that for you, Randall. As you were sort of sharing with me your question, the first thing that was showing me was there's a number of endings, changes and transformations taking place. And I felt that this has been a slow-going process. I didn't think it was something that you were able to wrap up in a month. Has there been things sort of slowly evolving in this last 6 to 8 months in your life that you're now looking at some of the areas of your life in it through a different lens?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want you to continue on with that, because I don't think we're quite there yet. It's not saying that the decisions that you've made or choices that you've made to date are wrong. It's just saying that because you've taken those steps, there's going to be others now that are going to come to the forefront or come to the surface that will also need looking at or modifying or changing or saying, look, I no longer need that, I can put that to one side. What they are showing me is from the month of August, you feel like as if you're back in the driver's seat again. It's like, yes, there still might be some choices and decisions to make, but it's like I've got a clear direction then. Are you thinking of moving?
Could you repeat that, please? The very last, I didn't.
I said, are you thinking of moving residence? Is that been one of the choices that you've been throwing around?
No, I'm quite happy in where I'm living right now. But there are some decisions that I have to make as to, what I'm going to do with my future.
Yeah, but I understand that. But they showed me question marks around where you're living. Now, I wasn't sure how to interpret that, whether that meant a move of residence, or is it just that you're going to make some changes or modifications to the actual building that you live in, that then will in turn open up other potential possibilities for where you're going for the future. It's sort of like the changes that you're looking to bring about, to me, start with that. It's like we need to nail that down. We need to lock that in. Even if you don't start, if you say to me, I'm going to renovate, even if you don't start the renovation process till next year, it doesn't matter, but the decision's been made. And that's what I think we need to do. We need to start to put things in concrete now, that decision, that choice has been made. We're going to start then, or we anticipate the start date then, so we can take that out of your mind, and then we can allow the next thing to come to the surface. The next situation or choice or decision that we need to make can come to the surface because we've dealt with that one. I do feel that there's going to be a difference.
there's going to be some renovations made here. I've been working on that.
Good. Are you looking to
So, yeah.
change the work that you're doing as well? Because I'm seeing sort of question marks around that as well.
Yes.
They're showing me 3 potential directions. They don't show me what type of work you're going to do. They're just showing me it's down to a choice of 3 at the moment of ways that you could go, or the things that you've been contemplating and looking at. I would like to sort of say whatever was the one that was in the middle, to me, stands out as being the stronger of the 3 directions.
Okay. That makes sense.
But I still feel there's some work to be done on that before we can say that's a done deal.
And that makes sense as well.
Good. Okay. Because I do feel that there's good money to be made. I do feel you're on the right path. And Randall, I just want to finish up by saying, just listen to your gut. If it feels really right, then that's what you need to do. If you're questioning it, doesn't mean it's wrong. It's explore it and then come back to it again. And you'll know then by your reaction in your tummy that whether it's becoming to feel right, you know, like so incredibly right, or do I still have to do some further investigation?
That sounds really good.
Okay, Randall, unfortunately, that's where we've got to leave it. I wish you well with your endeavours moving forward. We're going to talk with Joanna in Orlando in Florida in the USA. Are you there, Joanne?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have a question I can work with, Joanne?
I'm just looking for a general reading.
Okay. All right. Joanne, and I apologise for calling you Joanna at the beginning. The first thing that I'm picking up is that it's like I want to tell you to stand still for a minute or two. It's like you've had such a busy time this last couple of years. I want you to sort of catch your breath. It's like you need to just sort of allow yourself a little bit of time to just sort of stand still so we can sort of regroup. And I'm not just talking about your thoughts and your directions. I'm talking about your body needs to stand still and regather its energy as well. In this last 6 months, would it be fair to say that you've had your eyes opened to a number of situations and people?
You said within the past 6 months?
Yeah, the last 6 to 8 months. Has there been situations there where you've really looked at somebody and think, gee, I don't really know you, or why would you do that, or why did you say that?
Yeah, I've had many situations like that.
Yeah, and to me it was, what they were showing me was this last 6 to 8 months had been sort of like, it's not that you're silly, I don't mean that at all. It's just like somebody took off the blindfold and all of a sudden you saw everybody for who they truly are, good, bad and indifferent. And it's like, wow, okay, all right, that's thrown a new perspective on that person or that situation. We're coming to the end of that now, so that's good because it means now there's nothing more that needs to be shared with you in that way, that we can again start to regroup and get ready to move forward. I feel from about September with you, Joanne, there's going to be something that's going to cross your path that's going to say, wow, this is the direction I need to go. And it's like you won't know what it is until it sort of starts to come in, and it's like it's very strong. You won't miss it, so you don't have to think, oh, gee, I've got to go looking for this. It'll happen, and you'll just know that this is the right direction to be taking. But it's almost like if we were on a straight road, I want to say you're going to veer to the right. We're not going to keep going straight ahead. It's like we're going to take a detour, and that detour or that slightly different direction is going to put you where you need to be. I feel 2022 is going to be a fairly dynamic year for you. The remainder of 2021 is just sort of like laying the foundation stones down to the new life that you want to bring in. And it's not necessarily throwing everything out the window and saying that's all old and obsolete. It's a matter of fine-tuning what we've got, but making room for some new opportunities to come in. And with that will be some new friendships and things like that as well. Have you been doing some study or some learning to sort of enhance your career?
Yes, I have. I work as a nurse, but I returned back to school to pretty much just advance in my career.
Good.
I have been studying, but the way the school is set up, it's more like those pay-as-you-go schools. So where I'm stuck at is like I would have to finish paying them before they send me to take my boards.
Right. So you need to try and raise those funds so you can take that next step.
Yep.
Yeah, look, I do think it's going to be possible. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but what I was sort of seeing from September onwards, it was like those sort of sticking points that you can see now all of a sudden will start to melt away, because I do feel that there's going to be a new job, but I didn't feel it was until 2022. So that's why I asked about the study, because I was seeing the study and it was sort of like it seemed like it was going on forever. Well, that makes sense now that you can't complete it until you've got the money to take the next step. But once that sort of happened, it's like it opens up a whole new world for you, and you have done the right thing by, taking on board the extra pressure of the study and, the extra responsibility of finding the money to finish paying for it. It will turn out to be great, and it will turn out to be the best thing that you've done in a very long time. I'm not seeing a change of residence, so I hope you didn't want one, because to me you seem to be quite settled where you are. It's just that you need to sort of try and find ways to create the extra income, or, cut back on expenses that you've got, so we can get you across the line with the finality of this study. That's really, really important. Who's the dark-headed man? And I'm going to say not somebody that's currently in your life, but I felt it was somebody that was important in the past. Was that a previous love connection?
I do have an ex-husband that I don't really speak to anymore.
No, but
I do have some past love connections.
No, I go with the ex-husband, because this is somebody that's coming back towards you that you'd quite happily leave in the past. Like, I thought we dealt with that. So just be aware of that. Look, you don't have to be anything other than pleasant and polite, but be firm at the same time and say, there is no going back. I think he's had this major revelation of how he thinks that he was responsible for the marriage breakup. Well, he definitely was, but it's all too late. So unfortunately, Joanne, that's where we've got to leave it. We've come to the end of the show. So wherever you are in this amazing world of ours, enjoy the next 7 days. If you're into the Olympics, turn the dial on the telly and enjoy the joy and the wonder and the amazing energy that those athletes put into, bringing the games to us. But for those other mere mortals that have just got to get on with their day-to-day stuff, don't forget about the 10 of Pentacles, and hopefully some more money coming your way. So until next week, bye for now.